Moon Knight issue number 20. That is so good to say. How long has it been? Has it been since the Houston era, which hit to 30, since we've had a book hit 20? Right? Am I crazy for thinking that? It feels like it's been forever, but man, this issue just ripped hard. And there was a backup, and I'm like, this is it, man. This is what we're doing here. It's good shit. It's awesome. It's like having a solid Moon Knight book be consistently good for 20 issues feels like it's unheard of. Having issue 20, I would easily say one of my favorite issues of the run that did something I wasn't expecting. That's even more unheard of. This is so good. It makes me happy. This is the kind of thing I like. Just a unique take. So last issue, people were gunning for some of Moon Knight's Shadow Cabinet. Do you guys remember the Shadow Cabinet? I haven't read that run in so long, because that was the Marc Spector run, right? Because they actually have like the editor's note in this issue for Moon Knight, for Marc Spector Moon Knight number 60. And I'm like, wow, we used to get to 60 with these things? That's amazing. I haven't read that in forever. But this book opens up with these two masked robbers in these weird calico-looking masks killing Junior Birdman. And you're like, oh, that's a name from the cabinet. And guess what? We get a couple splash pages just seeing Moon Knight looking at the own list of the people in his shadow cabinet, and a lot of them are being killed. So the majority of this issue is the Moon Knight team going across New York trying to save the members of his shadow cabinet. So Mark's running down, he couldn't save Birdman. We see that Hunter's Moon is trying to find Jaime Vasquez, but he's already dead. His throat was slit. We see that Tigra was able to save Kim Hung. Now again, if you're new to Moon Knight, these names are characters from the Shadow Cabinet, an organization that's old school. They all had kind of like code names, so Jaime was Sheriff, and Hung here is Scout. And some of them are dying. It's not looking good. There's a lot of crazy stuff going on. You see that Mark's trying to save Plesko. We saw him in some of the previous issues talking to other people. He just made it home. Mark's like, don't do anything. I'm coming to get you. I'm going to save you. But as soon as he gets near the building, it explodes in a huge explosion. Mark falls to the ground. I know I say it a lot. I want to reiterate again. So when you read this book yourself, I want you to really focus on the coloring and the use of the white for Moon Knight, because it looks so transcendent in this issue compared to previous ones. I don't know why. Something about the way this one looks and feels and behaves is so strong, just in terms of like the coloring for Moon Knight himself. So there's a couple of them they know that have already died. There's one, Skidder, who is nobody. They don't know where he is. Probably the X-Men have him because, you know, the Krakoa stuff, you get all that. One of them died a long time ago. Psycho's been in a coma, but he's disappeared, so shit is getting real. Nobody knows how to react to this. We have Reese on the line, working from the Midnight Mission, trying to solve all this. It's not working, but she kind of has like, hey, I think I have an idea. I might have figured out how this is happening so fast, but to understand it, I need to talk to Jake. So he's like, okay, you want to talk to Jake? That's fine. Beautiful thing that happens in this book that I really like is when we switch to Jake, the color slightly changes from the blue we were seeing with Mark in control to more red and white colors, which is such an interesting thing to see happen. We also see that he throws on a fake mustache, kinda, you know. It's like, so they're killing everybody in one night. Like, that's the plan. They're trying to get it all done in one night. You're a New York cabbie. I want you to think about all the addresses, and I want you to tell me if there's a specific route they are taking to get everybody in a fast enough pace where we can't react in time to save all of their lives. And we see a nice page. I love this page where it's just Jake standing over the map of New York, seeing the ones that have already died from a place to place to place to place to place basis, and seeing, oh, here's where the pattern goes. So we got the next person safe. And these are the people we still have to find. So yes, there is a route. He found a route that they are taking. That's awesome. I love that. What a cool idea. Like, if you're going to use the personalities for something different than we've seen, this is what I like to see. it's such a creative idea where I'm like, I don't know why nobody has really thought about doing something like this. It's a simple idea where like Jake's going to use his intelligence of the streets of New York to see how they're getting by. It's not crazy, but yeah, that makes sense. What a good use for that character. So Sigmund's down, which means they're going to go for Scout next, but we have Scout with us, which means they're going to figure that out. So Jake is going to switch back to Marc, and they're going to let Marc fly down, get to where Scout's going to be, because then that's where Marc is going to intercept the people that are trying to kill Scout. So they get there. I love the cloak glistening in like the telephone line, like an ethereal looking character. It's amazing. Moon Knight takes a picture of them. He's like, before I figure out what to do, I want to know who's trying to kill my people, and then I'll take them down. So who does Marc send the picture to? Well, 8-Ball, of course, which again, great use of a character. 8-Ball is sitting in the bathtub. He is, keeping the 8-Ball on, singing a song, gets the call from Marc. He's like, hey, I sent you a picture. Who are these people? 8-Ball, being an idiot, drops his phone, trying to get it out. He's like, hey, you kidding me? That's who's killing your people? The Harlequin hitmen? Bunch of idiots. They're so stupid. They're useless. Like, a couple of jokes, and they're killing your men, which makes Moon Knight even more pissed off. So he goes in for the attack. Harlequin hitmen, there's a reference. Maybe, I if that's something that existed before, which it does seem like it if they're referencing like a speedball thing. Okay, maybe I know it, but I can't picture it in my head. So, hell, Moon Knight just takes them down. But this is where we kind of learn there's a message going through it, like the ghost in the telephone, which is just like the voice telling them what to do. Essentially, here's the people you're hitting, not saying who it is. This is something bigger. There's somebody obviously telling these men what to do, and Marc is like, I'm not having that. A couple of nice pages with some great lines from Marc. I am a ghost. I am a weapon. And the ghost in the telephone isn't safe from me. No one is. I really like that. So he takes down the hitmen pretty easily in beautiful colors. It all looks great. I cannot believe we're doing this still. I know that's such a cliche thing to say, but the fact that we're at issue 20 of this run, Cappuccio's artwork is still giving me goosebumps every time I see it. And I'm like, we are in peak Moon Knight era. Like, I don't know what they're going to do when this run's over. I don't think it can be topped. So that's done. We cut back to the Moon Knight mission, and the Harlequin hitmen are tied up. Moon Knight has called in Sternum for help, and she's like, I don't like what you're doing here. But I guess I know what you're trying to ask. It's like menticide, which is like something with brainwashing. It's like the erosion of individual values, personality, will. And yes, something has happened to these men's mind that made them work for this. The ghost in the telephone, something that is controlling them. A greater being of which we don't know. That's cool. And now I'm trying to think who's like an obscure character that can be pulled back in and have something to play with. Interesting. I genuinely, because McKay is pulling from so many different eras of Moon Knight, I'm trying to think of who it could be. I don't know. What's Carson up to? Are we going to bring Carson back? Is he going to be the person responsible for this? I feel like this next character is going to be a little more personal, so I could see it going that way. We already did the Stained Glass Scarlet stuff. We already had the Jack Russell stuff, so I don't really know. But it's cool and it's fun. Sturm's like, look, I will help you with this because these men seriously have issues, but I'm not a member of your crew, so you're going to have to do what I say and let the police handle this. Marc is like, fine, I'm defeated. I will let you do that. But you're right. There is something messed up about their brains, and I am willing to help you figure out what that is through the right means. And we end the book just seeing Marc like, those two aren't the only ones taking orders from the dead. My own dead are screaming at me for answers. Dr. Sternum for vengeance. Sheriff, Junior Birdman, Fingers, Mercy, Sigmund. And I owe them all. Whew, that's a strong ending where Marc's like, somebody is trying to piss me off, which is the theme of this run for some reason that I genuinely enjoy, where it's like every person Marc encounters is after them for some really bullshitty vendetta. It's not really like him actively finding these things. People come to him for help, and then suddenly he's drawn into this larger picture, this larger world. So fascinating. Utterly, utterly fascinating. Great way to end the book, but that is not the end because we also have a backup, which I'll talk about very briefly. This, I guess, is supposed to tie into the new Blade story. A new Blade comic book did drop the day this issue comes out, too. So we open up this backup with Marc talking in the present day to Blade, and then we cut to the summer of 1977, where Blade is teaming up with another Moon Knight named Nisi. Now, it's fine. I've never been the biggest fan of Blade. I understand the importance of that character and why it's cool. I do like how we changed the artwork out to this more retro style for the 70s feel. Blade's in that classic look of the afro. I dig it. So him and this Nisi Moon Knight start fighting at first, but then they team up to beat up some vampires, and it's kind of interesting. He just feels like this girl is going to be guided in the right direction. So they just team up and fight people. And you respect it and you like it. And they have a nice little moment where she's like, look, I owe you a debt. You have steered me in the right direction. If you need help, Khonshu will help you. And he's like, I don't need help from Khonshu. You helped me. So if you need anything, I will help you. So if you're embedded to the debt of the fist, then someday that scratch will be itched. Itch will be scratched, I should say. She doesn't need anything because Nisi doesn't need it. What a great design for Nisi, too. Just a nice looking character show up. Something that they've been doing a lot recently is expanding the Moon Knight mythos where we see them throughout the Marvel history more, which I think is kind of a cool thing. But that 77, which I guess in terms of the actual continuity, isn't that long ago. It's only 40-something years ago. So Nisi could potentially still be active as Moon Knight, and because we put this in the Moon Knight number 20, perhaps she is going to be the character that is controlling the Harlequin hitmen. So in the present day, Marc's like, look, Reese is a young vampire. She works here, but I want her to feel safer and learn how to be a proper vampire. I don't know who else to trust. And instantly Blade's like, cool, she ready to start? She ready to go? She's like, okay, you're not usually so game about these things. But it's like, hey, I owe the Moon Knights a favor. Not you, but one of your personalities, a good one. And Marc's like, okay, cool, I guess that's where we're going. A fun backup. Not crazy. Worked well for the story. And this issue is great. I think it struck every nerve perfectly. The reintroduction to some classic characters. The artwork was gorgeous. The writing was strong. I can't believe we're 20 issues in, and I'm still getting goosebumps. That is amazing and impressive, and something about this book that just works on every conceivable level. It's utterly fantastic, utterly amazing. We don't do this enough anymore. I really, really dig this issue, and I hope we get to see this book continue. We're at least getting to 22, because I know they solicited issue 22 for April, right? Yeah, I guess it is February. Yeah, damn. Okay, cool. 2 more months of Moon Knight at the least. Awesome. I'm on board for that. So, Moon Knight number 20. I am going to give a 10 out of 10. That's right. Now, thank you guys for watching this review. Be sure to like and subscribe to the channel. As always, you can check me out on Instagram, TikTok, and Hive. I will catch you in the next one. Have fun. Stay safe. Good luck.